Happy music makes me want to think about financial empowerment too. Let's make sure we keep that happy face. Indeed. Thank you so much. I opened up some microphones so that you all can express yourself. It won't be me holding you back. If you keep the mute button and you are a member and I didn't hit you, it's because you logged in late. But other than that, if you're a member, I'm depending on you to be not just active, but hyperactive. Every Wednesday, I want to hear you laugh. I want to hear your smile. No, I know on our members only, we show our faces, but tonight nobody can see your face. So you can talk, you can say whatever you want. But if you want your face on, I would love to promote somebody for a panelist. So make sure you let Pat from the AfroEconomics team who is helping me. When you see that, make sure you reply or you say it loud and proud. I know you want to, Mr. Wynn. I know you want to come on camera and tell us about some behavioral finance. Isn't this, um, an interesting topic though? Like let me get us started, and then want to think about why we do what we do with our money. Thank you for sharing your Wednesday night with me. This is Afro Economics Live, and we are excited. When I say we, I'm talking about the Afro Economics members that are on live with me tonight. King Hollis, indeed, Ms. Howard, Ms. Hayes, Ms. Jones, Mr. Wynn, Ms. Sumter. These are just some of the members. Ms. Ramadan, indeed, Dr. Williams, Ms. Perkins, Ms. Pritchard. Yes, I got your message, and we got to get you on the schedule. Time to see Ms. Pritchard. I miss you, and she's one of our front liners, a nurse getting it done. We appreciate you. I hope I get to hear your voice tonight. How you doing, Craig? How are you and your Mrs.? Yes, indeed. Uh-oh. I forgot your rank, but Ms. Worsley, our veteran, along with King Hollis, our veterans tonight. Who else is a veteran? And my sweetie, Mike. Yes, indeed. I see you. Y'all are all, I appreciate you all so much. We're talking about behavioral finance. And, I got so excited about the members hanging out tonight because it's holiday time. And you don't have to be spending it with me. You can be watching a whole bunch of stuff on television, but this is about financial empowerment. So when you take your time to be a part of this, it means you really take your life seriously. These are discussions like this that last for generations. These open us up to like new thoughts, new ideas. We just start thinking about different things. That's what empowerment is. Going somewhere and someone selling you something, that's not empowerment. That's just a sales pitch. What we're talking about in Afro economics is powerful information. And tonight is just to talk about why we do what we do, that we actually, there's a reason behind it. There's a rationale. Like we study that as a person that studies why we do what we do, studies business, have focused on you and your financial decisions my entire career. I think it's fantastic that we have so much information now on behavioral finance, right? We got to say it. So I said it to the best of my ability. Behavioral finance, all of it. What is it? Angelicia, I don't know if but she always jokes on me because I say every syllable of her name. But if I think it's hard, what should you do? Slow down. It's amazing how when someone thinks that something's hard, they go faster. Have you seen that? Did I tell y'all about that time where I was in a storm and my child was in the car in front of me and it was like a tornado coming through? And the parent that was driving the car in front of me When she gets afraid, she goes faster. So she starts flying down the street. So then I got to fly down the street because my child's in that car. And that's what some people do with their money. When they get afraid, instead of saying, okay, this is inclement weather, it's okay, this is challenging financial times. Let me get help. Let me adjust my speed. Let me do more research. Let me evaluate my surroundings. What is, the best thing for me to do when I'm in this situation? But would you agree that there are some people, when they get afraid, they do the worst things financially too?
I'll agree.
Isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
thank you, King Hollis. Like they do, like instead of like saying, let me research that, let me think that through. So that's what behavioral finance is about. That even though we live in a society that tells us that or we would like to believe that everything that we do is rational, all of our decisions are based on fact, and we do the right thing. That's not true. So, behavioral finance is the study of the influence of psychology on the behavior of investors or financial analysts, people like me. It affects me too. So, it also includes the subsequent effects on the marketplace. Because when analysts or what are seen as experts come out with certain information, what happens? It goes onto the media, and everybody starts reacting to what they saw. So it has an effect on the market. It also focus on the fact that investors are not always rational, and investors have limits to their self-control and are limited. Now, this is the definition of behavioral finance, and are influenced by their own biases. You feel me on that?
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
then there's this corporatefinance.institute.com that has done, I mean, there's a whole bunch of information out there, but I liked the picture that they did. I'm gonna just share um this picture with you. And it kind of breaks it down into four areas of behavioral finance where we have to, um, where we don't have to do anything, but where it makes it easier for us to think. If we think of these four key areas, then we've pretty much covered the major areas of how we behave financially: self deception, heuristic, simplification. A nice way of saying like how we deal with like rules of thumb or things that have become commonplace, but
Mhm.
even the oversimplification of things, social influence, and then emotionally. Now, I hope y'all could see that. So, our emotion. Now, which one, if you're willing to unmute for a second, which one stands out in your mind?
Emotion.
Yes,
Emotional.
Emotion for me as well.
right?
What up?
Emotional.
Which one?
You don't?
Oh my goodness. Mute your, of course, that
Oh,
would be my family. I'm telling you, I hear my child. I hear her.
yeah.
Both of y'all. You're just I should
Everything was
yell.
on me.
I, I should yell.
Everything
Like,
was
be
on me.
quiet. Your mute, your microphone is on. She's asking, it's something about food. And but emotion, how we make our financial decisions, and the key areas, emotion. I mean, y'all hit it, because I mean, but how about self deception as well? But we'll look deeper. So, behavioral finance, remember, the study of the influence of our mind on our behavior as investors. And then, traditionally, financial decisions, it's believed that um, that we're perfectly rational, and that we have key characteristics like this is what investors do, this is what investors don't do, and that investors, this is in a perfect world, have perfect self control. But behavioral finance has discovered that investors aren't rational, they're normal. And they actually have more limits, that investors have really limits to their self-control. You can think of it like everybody has a tipping point. Like you'll look at your account and you might say, if it goes below blah blah blah, right, then your self-control may get lost. And then um you're influenced by biases. Investors are, this is what behavioral finance has discovered, and that investors actually have errors in their understanding of how like the markets work and different financial decisions work, and it leads to wrong decisions because of things that they just feel are what everybody does, or these are the answers. And so if we think about self-deception, let's think about that. Self-deception is the concept of what? Deceiving yourself, right? But
Mhm.
it limits the way that you learn. So when you think about things from a wrong perspective than the way they actually are, then you're deceiving yourself. And I even write about this in the book about like the worst part is when you're kidding yourself. Like when a person can get a loan and they get this new car and they think they're rich because they got a new car. So that just materialism itself is a major form of self-deception that has kept us from developing the wealth that we truly deserve, because we've also fooled ourselves to thinking that that as when remember that Wednesday night where we were talking about just things that are said that aren't really true, like fake it till you make it. No,
Mhm.
that's that's self-deception. It's not real. What we're trying to think of it is that it's motivating, but it's really like fooling yourself if you're going out and purchasing clothing that you can't afford on credit cards that you're not going to be able to pay, or not sure how you're going to pay it off. That's deception.
JB
Yes.
would also not really being honest about how much debt you're in be
Yes.
a self-deception.
Yes. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Everything it's going to work out. It doesn't really matter. And then because they don't want to look at it. Because
Yeah.
I often think, how can we have almost 600 members, but we have three times that of people who have not even become just a free member.
Mm.
Who would not do that? Like, who would not? It really makes me think. I would just love to do a survey. Like, why exactly would you not like sign up to get additional information and access to all of the other stuff that are for members only? And it's free.
Don't want to know.
They don't want to know it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to
Yeah.
participate in a members only meeting that's talking about, being financially responsible during the holidays. I'll do that next year. As if next year is like a long way away, that it's like 2 weeks, right? It's like you know it's so true, so true. And the heuristic, the Greek word, remember I was telling you about, that describes a rule or method that comes from experiences. So it's just a complicated way, but I really feel that we need to take that word home. Heuristic. Heuristic simplification. Because I feel like if we need to hear some things so that the next time you hear it, it's not new to you. So that's when we say, if A plus B is C, then certainly, you know what I mean? C plus D, you know what I mean? It's going to take me farther, because you're just, you know what I mean? Everything, you're basing it on everything that's surrounding it, and you're making a decision that's not really a clear conclusion. So they're shortcuts, rules of thumb, like we talked about last week, that are used to simplify financial decisions. Like, remember last week I was talking about the 4%? So if the person uses a 4% rule, but sometimes, and they go, well, I'm gonna retire it and I'm gonna take the lump sum because JV Bryan said if I take like 3.5 to 4%, this money can last forever, right? But that would only be taking part of the facts. That is also based on certain portfolios. So the person will hear part of the information, go somewhere, not come to me for expansion on it. You know what I'm saying? Take parts
Mhm.
of the information, oversimplify it, and go somewhere, and run out of money because they haven't thought about when all of the criteria that was included in that the highest chance was one that was in a very stock heavy portfolio. But they say they don't go to that. They just go and they put it in a CD or something. And they go, I don't want to lose anything. They get real conservative with it. Well, they have to understand the consequences of the behavior. But because they bought into that rule of thumb, I take out 4%, 4%, then it works. And for everybody, it's going to last forever. But they didn't really allow it to apply to their life specifically. And even what if they have too many bills and 3.5 to 4% is just not enough and they can't pay their bills at that? So what do they start doing? Spending more, taking out more.
Mm.
So that that it's the heuristic simplification era in behavioral finance is oversimplifying or grabbing onto a little bit of information. You know how people do that. You know, a little bit of information and going with it. How they make that, like in any aspect in their life, like, they might how this behavior goes over to lots of different areas. Like they chose a job based on a little bit of information about that particular workplace and that career. They chose a spouse, but they only knew them for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you know they should know him for 100 years before they marry him. I'm just joking.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
I knew you were
This
going to
is
say that,
true.
King Holland.
This is true.
And
This is
sometimes
true.
that don't matter.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Sometimes it don't
Oh,
matter.
absolutely.
Oh,
I'm a. I knew who that was Miss Williams, and I'm gonna get you and King Hollis together. Don't y'all worry. and, and y'all gonna say, but sometimes it does work. Exactly. Amen. But plus, see, look. Plus, you know what it looks like. You know what success looks like, indeed. So definitely, a third area that we saw in the graph is emotion. So this behavioral finances is that we're just doing everything because it feels a particular way, or it just you feel like it's time. Like, we get out of college and you think that it's time that you have to buy a brand new car, or you finish your masters and it's like, oh, I got to get a bigger house. Just emotional move. It wasn't based on anything. Not to mention how many people are refinancing right now and on based purely on emotion, because it's like, you have to make sure that the numbers work out for you on every aspect of it. Not just because they said, oh, your rate's going to go down a half a point. You don't know how many times I hear that. And I'm like, they're sitting there talking to you about a half a point for $6,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and they're getting paid on this. I mean, these companies are making mad money on getting people deeper in debt. So just, don't get caught up in the emotion of feeling like you're being left out or something, or you're being left behind. Where else does emotion come into play? Where have you seen it play? If it doesn't have to be your life, but a friend's life. You could say just a friend of yours. How do you see it?
But sometimes can it be positive? The emotion can be positive, whereas you can say where you know you may have been in a bind financially,
Mm,
and you and they come across you and they
mm,
listen to some of the things that you say,
mm,
and then they just stop saying, well, I'm going to stop doing that,
mhm,
cold
mhm,
turkey. I'm
mhm,
going to stop. I'm going to start
mhm,
saving. I'm going to start,
mhm,
saving each pay. I'm taking out money and putting that in.
mhm,
I'm, I'm not going to try to keep up with the Joneses. I'm going to keep this car that I have.
mm. And you could say
So
that, well, you're right, but you could say that that has graduated past emotion and into, that they're actually were motivated to take positive steps, through their
mhm.
future. But you're right that because I'm trying hard to say you're wrong, trying real hard, right, real hard. I'm just joking, but I know what you're saying. I just don't know exactly how to say it. No, sure. She's like, just let me have it then, JB. Just let me have
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
let me have it.
Yeah, but you're right, because if they probably, if they didn't ever get emotional about it, they never would have got motivated, right? So it can work to their advantage if they go through the process.
Right.
Yes, indeed. So that's like my solution is that we have to um be less like just working off reflex and more on reflection. But yes, so once they become um maybe emotionally motivated, grounded in some good facts and specifically for themselves, you're right. Because if there's no emotion, people, nobody's going to do anything. Like you're right, they have to be inspired to some degree, inspired, or they're going to do nothing. So,
Yes.
how about social influences? That's right. In
Keep
allowing your
keeping up with the Joneses
yes,
Yes.
or
allowing
what
this,
other people are doing. They
mm,
got a new car. I'm gonna go and get me one.
yes,
I want them to outdo me.
yes. It's so true. Like it's so true. Like they do. Like y'all know that I ride a motorcycle, but I don't ride it. I don't, for some reason, I don't know why. Like COVID has not excited me about riding, and it is like one of the most safe things you could do in COVID, right? Because you just riding by yourself.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just working so much. But but you when we have these when you have like groups and roundups, they sell so much unnecessary stuff. How much stuff can you put on a bike? Like, have you ever seen people with motorcycles and they have like 15 speakers, a TV, a navigation? Uh,
How you
uh,
gonna
um,
no 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 no. How you gonna have a TV on a bike?
yes, I know. To a
The
TV for
luggage rack,
a TV for what'd you say? A what?
the luggage rack, and
The
the
luggage
little
rack, the
bag.
trailer. Look, the trailer.
Yes.
Everything. I'm like, when you get there, and they will still sell somebody does something else. I mean, by the time they get through it, like you might have a $20,000 bike. By the time you go to a couple conventions or something like that, you have like a 50 or 60. I've seen some bikes I know collectively are about 100,000 in the bike
Wow. Wow.
easily, easily. And how much you're gonna get? Like all of the stuff you do to improve it, they don't give you any credit for it. Nothing. When
Nothing.
somebody comes to buy it, they want it back like it was when you started because they don't want all that stuff. And that's something. You know what I'm saying? You don't get any credit for that. Actually, it works against you because they're like, how am I gonna get all this stuff off?
Mhm.
And that is amazing. But social influence has so much to do with that decision making. I remember I rode a Harley Davidson for like 10 years, and I don't like Harley Davidson. It's just that everybody I was riding with rode Harley Davidson. And
Yeah.
I was like, always wanted to ride a Suzuki. So then I said, the Harley got totaled, and it was always like sometime it would start, sometime it wouldn't, sometime it would start, sometime it wouldn't. So then the Harley got totaled, and the insurance company gave me the money, and I could have bought a half a Harley or a whole Suzuki. I said, give me my money, I'm buying a whole Suzuki. And bought, you know what I mean? It took it over there, and to me, in my opinion, a much superior bike. Much superior. But my emotion got in my original and second. That, you know what I mean? It wasn't until I got to my third bike, you know what I mean? And to like my 10th car, no, probably like my sixth car, at least sixth car, before I stopped involving emotion into those purchases. And those things are the things that will pull away from our ability to save. And we don't even think about it. You know, we go, well, what's that got to do with investing? It has everything to do with investing, because if you get $1,000 car or a $500 car, you can invest 500 with, and you have the $500 car.
I sure could invest when I fix that BMW.
That's right. That's right.
I make a nice investment.
I know, but you look really good.
But
you look really good in it, though. You look really good.
Well, that's not helping me.
You know, that factors for something, I know, but you weren't planning on a pandemic. I know that's right.
I mean, I put that top down, and that helps me.
Right? Exactly. You should just put on a hood and put the top down and just ride.
It really helps me. It really helps me. It really does.
Right?
I'm not complaining.
That's so good. Funny. That's so good. It's just good, you know, if you buy something and you love it. It's just so hard when people purchase things and then they immediately have that, I don't really like it. Why did I get that? You know what I mean? Like, it takes all of the joy, you know, from it. Even that's why, like, a lot of times when I'm helping a client with investments, I prefer the client that moves slowly, because I know that they're going to be happy with whatever we do.
Yes.
Almost 99% of the time, when a person comes at me moving real fast, and they like, I got this, and I'm, you know, I want this money, and here, let's do this right now, let's move fast, you know, I really would like, no. It's kind of like if you go on a date with someone and they try to move too fast. It's not good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And isn't it?
That's, yeah, but it's like, it should be, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, they're being very emotional, and I know that this is not, you know what I mean, going to end well. Because, you know, so that's not, you know, you're not like my style is not appropriate for everyone. And unfortunately, our community is accustomed to being sold all the time, not being serviced. So when I'm trying to service some people to death, they're mad because they're used to being sold. Well, I gotta buy. Can I buy something yet? You know what I'm saying? Because they're used to that car dealership type, you know what I mean, thing. Go in, buy, get it. You know what I mean? Don't hear from them till the next time you need an oil change. You know, it's just, that's not how you build wealth. That is not, AfroEconomics is a lifestyle. And I talk to everybody about everything in all of the 10 principles of AfroEconomics. That's why I added the 10 principles to the event invitation and reminder tonight, because I want us to go into 2021 with a lifestyle. So we move away from these things that are, you know, because advisors can look at these type of behavioral finance and study it and use it against you. You know, these things are weaknesses, you know, that can be identified. So, you know, how often do you see an advisor anywhere talking about, you know what I mean, behavioral finance? This is from industry website talking to us about what you do. I'm telling you, you know what I mean, how you're seen by these scholars and experts. So you have to take this empowerment. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? These are the stereotypes of financial services. Like, this is what these are, and then I have the top biases that investors have. The number one is overconfidence. Y'all know some of the overconfident ones. Now they buying everything on that app. I don't need no AfroEconomics, mama. I'm buying on my app. It's like, sit down, son. Read the book. Nah, I got this. I made $1.50 yesterday. You're behind on your school loan, son. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. You notice? Overconfidence. Overconfident, and a lot of times it leads to being too risky. You know what I mean? Too risky. But that whole app world was built on that overconfidence. They go, if I give them a little bit of research and I show them this stock has been going up for 5 days, they gonna go in and buy it. Y'all feel me on this? So they mix that into the algorithm, get them excited, send them ideas every day, and they'll buy. Let them buy little fractions of Apple because they ain't got $200. They ain't got a $1,200. They don't have but they got $1. They got 50. They got 10. How much you want to buy? How much you want to buy? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you just want $10 worth? Here's $10 worth. They don't even know how much the markup is.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. Well, how many of these do I have to buy in order for me to get a whole share? I don't know, son. The one young man got overconfident, thought that he made a mistake, killed himself. Did you see that? Killed himself.
Yes.
Because he thought he had lost so much money on the app.
Oh my God.
Killed himself. I mean, and he didn't even, they just hadn't, he didn't wait to see how it all settled, and they didn't have a customer service number for him to call. So he was all confused. To tell people, if you do it and you sign up, get a customer. Make sure you do one that has a 24 hours customer service. Don't hurt yourself. But it does, like, that's a huge bias of just, being overconfident and then feeling like this illusion of control as it is described. We're thinking,
JB, there's a lot of young people that are into that, that Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And just listening to you and about that, there's really no guarantee. You can lose a lot of your money just doing that.
It's not even regulated. We don't even know. You can't even get a clear understanding of where the value of it is coming from.
I know it.
All I know is that the federal government owns so much of it that they're going to try to get their money out. And every time the reason they own it is because they're getting it from illegal activity. So people initially, especially, were using Bitcoin for money laundering. So when the government would seize their property, they would seize their Bitcoin information as well. So one of the, if not the biggest Bitcoin holder is the US government. So they're going to allow it to continue to exist until they try. But every time Congress approves on a price to sell, it falls so dramatically. So if they go back in and they say you can sell it at such and such a price, they're going to have to say you can sell it at any price because they're holding. And I don't think investors are really thinking about that. Well, how are they going to get out? And what is going to happen to you when they get out?
And it's so weird.
That's not to give any, I would anybody investment advice, but I have never seen it work out yet when you don't have, over the long term. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody yet that sincerely that's Black, that has sincerely is living proof that they got rich from Bitcoin. Now, I've seen like some white guys that were in it from day one, like way back. And some of them have gone to jail. But some of them, you know what I mean? But some of them that really made money, but most of them like did get locked up. I don't know what happened, but the first guys that really made it popular, a lot of them had to do jail time.
Wow.
But I don't know, you know what I mean? But if I don't understand it, see, that's my limitation. Overconfidence. No, I'm not. If I don't feel comfortable with it and I don't fully understand it, I don't feel comfortable. Plus, but I'm licensed. That stuff is not regulated. And the people who tell people to do it, look, they're not licensed. So you can always, whenever I'm on a panel and I say I wouldn't advise for Bitcoin, and then you ask somebody that's not licensed, they can say whatever they want. Whatever.
JB,
Yes.
we had one of the attorneys trying to carve out a market in that Bitcoin industry. And she did a presentation and she was telling us, just really just an informational type session for us. And it was very complicated. And she talked about how every bank has its own Bitcoin, amount. So in other words, they buy their own Bitcoins. I left out of there so, just incredibly confused.
Yeah.
It just does not make sense to me.
It's very confusing. It's extremely confusing.
Yeah. Because I don't, because they can't directly tell you if it's based on supply and demand or what. Like I get supply and demand. That's what the stock market moves off of. You know what I mean? A lot of people want that stock. You know what I mean? That stock was price to go up. Generally, it's based on future earnings potential of the company. I get it. I don't know what's up with Bitcoin. I don't even know. We don't even know the person who created it.
Right.
I cannot figure it out. I tried.
That's scary. But that part, there is no proof of the person who created it. and it's just going on and on. But that just shows you
figured it out. The government created it.
Wouldn't that be something? That would be something. Yeah, and it's possible.
Yeah.
So then that we have that another bias is called the narrative fallacy. It limits our ability to evaluate information objectively. That's the narrative fallacy. We love stories and we let our preference for a good story cloud the facts that our ability it clouds us from being able to make rational decisions. So that means like if you're, just somebody comes in, remember that? Like, I'm not trying to pick on Amway, but remember that? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, and they would come in and they told you like, you know what I mean? This really good story. And I just remember looking at it and I'm like, wow, they made all that money? You know what I'm saying? And they go this, and then you come up this way, and then you get up to, you know what I mean? It would tell you what you got to do.
Yes.
And it looked
that washing powder.
Yes. And recruiting people.
Yeah.
But but the good story clouded a lot of people from seeing the work that was involved.
Yes.
It's like, you want to be at the top of the Amway tree? Well, you got to work. I don't understand why you think you can sit home and watch TV. You know what I'm saying? They were like, you need to be holding meetings. You need to be, people realized they were like, they didn't want to do all that.
Right.
But it's like, but it's kind of just a story. And then you see in the husband and wife and they're pretty and they're good looking couple and you want to be like them. And, you buy into it.
Pretty little blonde.
The pretty little blonde. Exactly. And they have look, and they always have a big house and a pool and the biggest cars. You don't even know anything about their inheritance that they, you know what I mean? Or there might not even be their house. It's just a picture. So you don't, we buy into that story, and that's where Bitcoin, huh? It's just a huge story and people bought into it. So also framing bias, like how you can change the way you look at something so it'll look totally different if they change how it's in it, what setting that it's in. Like if you go into a setting, and I've seen people do this, and they want you to invest in anything away from work. So they'll go, when you know that account that you have at work, you might as well take it out of that account, because that is going to cost you taxes when you retire. So I had a family member call me and they go, there's people in this workshop are telling me that I shouldn't be putting my money into my work retirement plan, because by the time I retire, I'm going to have to pay taxes on all of that. And I'm like, that's true, but you're not going to take it out all on the same day. You know what it's like? And you're not paying taxes on it right now. I mean, they're like, oh, wow. And this is like really highly educated people that they get in there. They get big money people. Look at that stuff you see on TV, and they'll go, they'll make it look like, take the money. I mean, I have known people who have taken multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars out of their retirement account to put in things that aren't regulated, just because someone told them, just because of the framing of the set, that this is much better. We don't even have historical performance. And it always makes me wonder, like, why would you, I've had people doing things that I've known them for years. Like, I had a client, and her husband, before he passed, said, don't do anything without running it by JB. Talk JB. So then all of a sudden she starts talking to me about all these withdrawals. And I said, what's going on? Everything okay? And she said, oh, I didn't want to tell you this, but I won the lottery. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, yeah. So somebody calls her with this story that she has won the lottery and that she has to send in the tax money.
Oh my goodness.
And she's like trying to keep the secret, King House. She's keeping the secret from me because she's going to surprise me. I said, well, and this was, she was in Virginia. So I said, well, what's the number? And then she gives me the number, and I called the number, and and she gives me an 800 number. I said, but Virginia, this is Richmond. That is going to be where the state lottery is. It's going to be a local number for you. Why would they give you So I called the 800 number, and it's nothing. It's nothing.
Oh my goodness.
And she had already sent them. Like, this was her second withdrawal, because it's like she won again or so. She had already sent them $20,000.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Amy, you need to stop it.
I'm not even exaggerating.
If you win the lottery, you're going to spend $20,000?
On taxes. On taxes, she said. And I'm going to surprise you. And I said, seriously, tell me this. If I told you, just send me $20,000 because I needed blah, 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 and you've known me most of my life. That's how long they know. I said, so would you have sent me $20,000? And guess what she said?
No. No.
I was so hurt. You know what I'm saying? I said, so what makes you trust them? Like, you don't even know them. You know my mama, my daddy, my family. You know everything. You know everything about me.
JB, can I tell you what they did to call me and told me?
What'd they tell you?
They told me I had won, and they told me how much I had to pay.
You too?
I said, oh, really? I said, well, I don't have that kind of money. I said, why don't you take it out my winning? Well, we can't do that. Well, you say it's my winning,
Amen.
So I'm giving you permission.
Right?
If I'm giving you permission, it's okay to do it. They hung up the phone.
Right? Since I won so much, let me do this for you.
Oh my goodness.
And then, it's sad. And then what about a loss? Another bias is loss aversion. Like, people lose, like King Hollis will probably never marry again because of loss aversion. But maybe he will, because there's always Chris. You and Chris have that loss aversion. When investors are fearful of losses, so they try to avoid any additional losses, and look, but what happens is you can miss out on the gains, right?
Yes.
But loss aversion, like, he's like, yeah, but loss aversion is wisdom. Fool me once.
Mhm.
That's it. The
Oh yes, amen,
right,
amen.
right, right. But the research says that investors actually feel the pain of loss twice as much as they feel the enjoyment of making a profit.
Hmm.
And so that must be like love, right?
What
And
you
that's,
think about that? Do you think that's true?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, I could double your money, and you just go look at the statement and say, there go JB. But you ain't gonna call. But let it go down to half. You call it. What in the world? What in the world? Like, I mean, I'm just asking, but what's in the world? But see, you know what I'm saying? A loss creates, you know what I mean, that much more of a reaction. But if you
Hmm.
really think about it, isn't it true? You would just be
Yeah.
smiling and go on with your day if it was
Yeah.
up. But go down, you go, what do we do? What do I do? What do I do? And so
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
But I think that that's bad. I think that we need to change that. We need to
Hmm.
change that. And I think that because of what we do and because of the way we look at money and our lives holistically, like someone was telling me there was a basketball player who lost 7 family members to COVID. Did you hear
Mm.
about
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
7?
I heard about it.
Include one of which was his mother.
Mother, yeah.
Wow.
So he said, like, money, it's like money can't replace any of this.
Oh, money don't mean anything.
Nothing. So it's like after a while, that I think that what we should say is that, you know what, okay. And I think that we would do better over the long term. Like, if we, of course, um, make sure that we take the emotion out, start enjoying a service experience like you all are doing, and making sure that everything that you do is what's best for you. And that's why I do like the risk analysis and things like that, so I can get to know your money mindset. And there's also, another behavioral finance perspective for us to think about is the herding. It's called the herding mentality, when
Mm.
um people tend to do what everybody else is doing.
Hmm.
Like, everybody thinks that they have to buy a house, when maybe a house is not the most cost effective thing for, say, is a one person, and this one person buys a 6,500 square foot house. Happens all the time. Because who else can afford it but one person, right? I'm just joking. But isn't that funny though? Because the person that needs it, that has 10 kids, they can't afford it. I got 10 kids. I can't afford that big house.
Mhm.
That's true.
That's
Isn't that
true.
funny?
That's true though.
The person had no kids. All they do is work. They get the big house.
They get
But
the big house.
is that something sitting in there by themselves? But they feel like they might have felt like you got to have that or you got to do that. They might not have bought it for themselves. I was telling you about when I had this, I was pressured, to like have a particular type of car, have a particular type of thing, that they tell you there's certain things that represent, material that represents, intellectual or business success. Isn't that sad?
Yes.
When it really doesn't. It really doesn't. There isn't. Like, we need to focus more, on our individual leads. I saw a quote this morning, but I couldn't see who it was that did it. But it said if 99% of the people don't don't like your idea, you're either grossly wrong or about to change the world. And I was like, that is so true. You know what I'm saying? That is so
Mm.
true. You gotta have, you know what I'm saying? You have to have nerve to go against the herd. You have to
Yeah.
have nerve. You know what I mean? To just, I know that this is best. Like, like when I say that renting isn't a waste of money if it is handled, you know what I mean, this way. And mortgage isn't not always the best because it has become like this is what success is like. But what if success was you save 20% of your income, your mortgage doesn't exceed, or your housing doesn't exceed 20 to 30% of your income? You know, that we had like these different habits of reducing, you know, our debts in personal residence and increasing our investments in diversified portfolios. How different the wealth gap would be.
Right.
How different the wealth gap would be.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. So the way that we can overcome behavioral finance issues is to move away from reflex, going by our gut. You know, I just feel that this is right. You know, and just going with whatever is most convenient. Like just so many people get in a work retirement plan and the work plan puts them into something. And I'll meet them and I'll go, let me see your work plan. And the work just put them into something. And because it's working, you know, you never really, you know, had the, you know, a chance. Like, you don't realize how much, because you have an investment advisor, how ahead of time, how much you have changing your lifestyle by looking at these things before you retire. People kind of just accept, too many people. That's the herd. You are not like, you are not, no matter how many people of you who get involved in this, you will never be the herd, unfortunately, because we're working in, you know, the top 0.001%, even, you know, the wealth of the clients and the members. You know, I mean, when you think about the average person can't come up with $1,000. Not black person, average
Average.
person.
Yeah. So, is there a deadline when it's too late to start talking to a financial planner?
Never,
Um,
never.
okay. I was just thinking, you know, someone who may want to start
Hmm.
before, you know, maybe they're going to retire in January.
That's right.
And it's like, you know, I need help.
That's right. Because it's very important, the pre, but it's even more important, the post. Because a lot of times people go, well, this is all I got, so it really doesn't matter. It really does. Because to me, the Medicare is very complicated.
Yes.
The taxes, you know, as you age can become more complicated. You know what I mean? Managing your life and having somebody to protect your you know, financial interests. Like I had a retired member call from the car dealership um earlier this week. Yeah, it was the other day. She called from the car dealership and she was about to refinance her vehicle, and I talked her out of it. And I said, because, you know, I got the details and, you know, the loan officer, she was very ticked. But I was like, you're what? You know what I mean? And it was about a half a point. And she was like, yeah, but the payment is going down. I said, because the loan amount is down. You're making payments on your original purchase price. You're going to be out of payment soon. This is, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be paid off in what, I don't know, 2 years. And then you're starting this over and you're going to go for another 5 years with that smaller payment, but you're going to be ending up paying more over time. You know, and then she
Mm-hmm.
said, and they're taking off my gap coverage. And at that point, I didn't know what she was talking about because I thought gap coverage was only with the insurance company. And I said, what? They're taking off my gap coverage. And I'm like, well, whatever they're taking off, don't do it. We need to review that. You know what I'm saying? Before you do anything, don't do it. Like, you know, and she was like, okay, well, you heard that. I was
Wow.
like, they were like, they do not care. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
They
Do
don't.
not care. The
If she's
lady was
got
like,
gap insurance, that's a reason to pause right there. Oh my goodness.
the Gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had the Gap. They have like this Gap thing that they're doing.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
they've
mean?
been doing it.
Yeah, she purchased that with the car, the
What
original
is
car,
it?
and she
It's
was
What
going to
is a
lose
gap?
it, huh? Oh, it's
it's
What
a,
is a gap?
it's
if you
insurance.
total it
Mm-hmm.
and you owe more
Yep.
than the car is worth, then they'll accept that gap. Like if so,
Yeah.
if you total it and they give you 12, but your car loan is 15, so
Yep.
you have a $3,000 gap.
Yep.
So
And the
that
insurance
so
covers
you
that.
paid no, but this is the car payment company. So you're buying an extra insurance.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're buying like
Yeah,
an
that's
extra
nice.
rider to go onto it.
Mhm.
So she was already 3 years deep into that. So I was like, don't get, you know what I mean, rid of it. It's going to pay. It's now you're getting going to get the benefit of it
Right.
because I don't know, but I was like, just don't do anything. Just slow down. It's like, too many things are being lost here. The it might, but I would have suggested that that you don't need it in the first place. But what happened is, I when they are doing this, because someone else said that they had gap, is when they know you have a gap, they sell you the gap. You know what I'm saying? They get you the gap
Exactly.
coverage because
Exactly.
they've created the gap. But
Yep.
instead, we should say, look, if you want me to buy this car, then you got to offer me enough to pay off the other one.
Yep.
Period.
That's right.
And if you can't offer me enough to pay off my other one, you know what I'm saying? Like some people end up in that situation. Like one young man, he emailed me and he was saying that he is really messed up, you know what I mean? Because he bought this car and it was like a luxury car and he can't even afford to get it fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And he still
Yeah,
had a payment on it, you know.
Mm,
And
mm,
it's
mm,
just
mm,
terrible. And there's a lot of people like that.
mm.
there's a lot.
They go out and they buy these old Benz, old BMW, and then when you got to take it into the shop, it's easy to have a $5,000
I don't think it all
thing.
the way through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a $5,000 repair needed on a Benz. Like my last Benz, it was a $5,000 replacement on the dash that
Mm,
had already been recalled, but they didn't want to, recall it again. Like they didn't want to accept that it had broken again because they had already
mm.
replaced the console and then it was buzzing. I'm driving down the street with my console buzzing.
Mm.
So I was like, when I go trade in this car, please don't buzz. Please do not buzz. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it buzzed for him or not, but I was like, when they gave me 1,500, I bounced all the way down the street. I was happy.
Oh my
I because I was like, at least I don't have to pay. I don't have any buzzing anymore. Goodness gracious. And then people were like, well, you could have got more. You could have got more. I was like, yeah, they don't know about the buzzing.
Yeah.
Because if I had tried to be proud, you know what I'm saying? And
That's
think
right. Yep.
I'm a selling myself. They come, everybody that drove it
Uh-huh.
would be buzzing all the way down the street. Oh my goodness.
And you still have it.
You know what I'm saying? Buzzing, buzzing. But it was
Wow.
funny. And it would buzz. And every time I would go to the dealership and I would say, it's buzzing. And they would go, oh, that's you need new brakes. I said, but I just got them. They said, yeah, these vehicles are heavy. That was like the ML. I was like, wow, over and over. So then finally, I stopped going to the dealership, and that man said, that console is broken. You don't need no new brakes. I was like, what?
Wow.
It was like, can you believe they did that to me? And I bought three
Yeah,
cars from
I
them.
believe it.
Yes, I can.
And they were like, the only way you can get it to turn up is you got to reset that. You got to put some new pads on.
Mm.
I'm doing it over and over. I'm like, this ain't no Mack truck. It's only been like 6 months or something. I got brakes 3 times a year. That's crazy. That's three
Mhm.
grand. Like they're crazy. They're
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm.
But when you have a luxury car, can you only take it to the dealership? You can't take it to Joe's garage, can you?
You
You
can take it
wouldn't
to
want
the
to.
to the ones that do it. Like I found a place called Import Auto Parts, Import
Yeah.
Auto Haus or something.
Yeah.
But they did, you know what I mean? And I found like other people who have used ones that are wiser
Yeah.
than me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to get around wise people. Cause like Michael had to get me out of that. I do it to him all the time. Like, you know, he was getting tires and I was like, you really should go to the dealership. And he was
Oh,
like, well,
really?
I found tires at such and such place and it's the same tires, babe. And it's so
Yeah.
and so. I don't trust it. They're probably not going back. Seriously, like I didn't get enough with the beat down at the dealership, you know? I'm so glad he held his own. And he said, no, it's
No,
this
that's right.
balance.
That's right, Mike.
They do it all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know he was thinking you're just wrong. And I just know it's really hard for you, but it's just wrong. You don't know anything about it. Wrong. These are the same tires.
You say you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but at least he didn't say anything like that. But I know he was feeling it. No, look, he's trying to be quiet now. Exactly.
But you were right, JB, in that you got to be wise and seek out people who have what you have so that you can go to places,
right.
but places that are qualified. Because I'm not going to take my vehicle to a bootlegger.
Yeah.
I do want I do want to drive it.
Exactly. Look. They were like, I'm gonna put it on the machine. Oh, you need someone to be funny. He just put it on. You go, oh, okay. You have the machine? Yeah, I got the machine. But that machine right there, because Mercedes has a Benz, and the machine itself, you know, is probably 200,000 or more. I can't imagine whatever the computer is. The
But I got a
diagnostic
great
thing.
shop. I got a great shop that deals only with imports, and and he's super reasonable. I haven't had to have anything done, but I do hear you. I hear you. I'm not a sucker for the
Oh no, they
dealership.
gonna do it to you. Plus, if your husband walk up there, I'm sorry, but they, you know what I mean. A lot of times, just woman and thinking that you're a woman by yourself, they treat us different.
Yeah,
They do.
they
You
do.
know, and
They
then
do.
you know, I commend sisters, you know, that are doing it because it's, you know, it's not. We don't really think about it. You know
Yeah.
that, you know, the way that what you're seeing when you see somebody can come right behind you. But did you see the story about this black lady who they came into her house and
Yeah.
with
I
the
heard
wrong
about
warrant?
that in
And they,
Oh
Chicago.
God,
oh my
yes.
God, and they just let her stand there naked like that
Mm-hmm.
and told her stop yelling. They're lucky they got her, because I would have had my 357. 357. 357 with my special ammo. Oh my goodness. King Hollis for me. You know, that is crazy. She had no weapons. She could have tore them all up.
Yeah.
She could have got them all. But they, you know what I'm saying? That's just crazy. I would at least yell to them that don't let me get to my gun. That's all you need. Keep the camera. You better keep the camera on.
Oh my God, that is embarrassing, humiliating.
Oh, it was terrible. And then they haven't even, you know, fired any of them. So,
They won't get fired.
nope.
Nothing will happen.
No, but they
Nothing
just like
will
we just and they're gonna give her a couple 100,000 and you know think she's gonna get over it, but it doesn't change the mindset of
It doesn't.
the
Yeah.
dehumanization of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's
It's not
trauma.
even, you know what I mean? It's that she is a woman and that is a man and they are humans.
Yes.
That's the sad part. You know, because you know,
I
Gail
would
was
die
like,
if I was like naked like
right,
that. I'm
right,
like, oh my God.
right.
How much money did she get?
I don't know. Maybe, you know, look, they're not going to give her much because she's still alive. You have to be dead to get real money.
Oh, but she had said that she wants them to be accountable for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's going to settle for the money, but she was quite upset and said they need to be accountable for that.
That's
But she-
unreal. That's unreal. I mean, I think they even had her handcuffed. That is
They
sick.
did.
They could have had a blanket or something. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I didn't see it, but I heard of it. And when I heard about it, it just took me back to slavery
Yep.
of being on the auction block.
Yep.
and you're naked like that,
Yep.
exposed. Things like that. I don't want to see it because it bothers me
Exactly.
too much.
Yes.
But
And it would have really bothered you. It was on the news
yeah,
though. I mean, it came right in the middle of the news and you could see her brown body. You know what I mean?
Oh
That
my
she was
goodness.
naked. Like they fuzzed out like the middle, but it was horrible. Like, I mean, yeah, like you said, that's how,
so to
we
me,
were treated.
things like that, it doesn't change because police officers, they're white. I don't know if they were
Yep.
all white
Yes,
police officers
they
or
were.
not.
It looked
But
like in the pictures they all were.
yeah, but they don't care. It's
Yep.
just,
They
just
really
something.
didn't. I think, they were trying to act like, you're black and you're ugly. You don't matter to me. I can't see you. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. Like,
Right.
stop
Yeah.
stop yelling, you animal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
Nobody
You said it
nobody
right. You're
cares
an
about
animal.
you. And that's
We're
so
not trying to look at you. You're nasty. You
yeah.
ugly. You
Yes.
nothing.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
not human. We're not
Yes.
looking at you.
Yes. I mean, think about what that did to her mental health. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
To have to live with that the rest of your life and they don't care. That's the
They
scary
don't.
part. And no matter how much they pay you, they still don't care. Nobody's even apologized. That is sick.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not gonna
good.
listen.
But I
People
mean,
have
but
died.
I can tell you like over and over in my life how experiences that I've had like that as a black woman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've only had experiences as a black woman, but I don't know anybody else. Like even when I share my experiences with my white friends, they're outraged. It's like they literally, as a black woman professional, I've had experiences happen to me that my white friends have confessed that they have never seen anything like that in their life ever.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that happens to us
Yep.
is
Yeah.
sick. And you're out there just trying to do your job. The desire for just service for my clients, the way that my clients are treated. No, that I have a client, that I've been trying to get her paperwork straight with Edward Jones, major company. You know what I'm saying? And they have totally just neglected her. They do not care.
Yeah.
Nothing like this ever goes viral. They don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, I have so many of these major firms, companies, products do not care about our business. And we rush it in there.
Yeah.
Rush it in there. Just give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I remember being a young broker and I would watch black people go in there and give their life savings to people who would not have even spoken to them on the
Right.
street, that
Yeah.
would not ever say even hi to me. That's what tripped me out. It's like y'all walking right past a black person, going in here talking to whom I feel it doesn't like black people at all. But he's smiling to you. But they ain't never said even hi to me. And we right next to each other. That's sick. And see it, we do it all the time because we do business with people we don't know. Even when they've done studies, they've said, like Prudential did a study and it said that black people really didn't care about the color of who they worked with.
They don't. They don't. Even
Isn't
when they're
that
treated
so
bad.
sad? It's
Even when
so
they're
sad.
treated
But
bad.
yet that same black person thinks that a white person should hire them.
Yeah.
So you don't think that you're important. You know what I'm saying? But so if you're saying that the white people basically don't need to hire you because it don't matter what we do. Because there's going to be black people, hopefully, to the end of time. So white companies hire black people to help black people. We don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't care about it, then they can easily say, well, then why hire you? Because y'all don't care. That's why they do that kind of research.
Yeah.
They go, well, it's not really that important. You know what I'm saying? So, yo. Mm, mm, mm. And we think that we're answering it because we're trying not to appear racist. You're not racist just because you love to have black people be able to feed their kids. It was like Black people, you know what I'm saying? If you want to help, I mean, white people like to help white people.
They sure
Latino
do.
people like to help Latino people. Like, that's just what people do. Why do we think that that's not okay? For you to want your child, your own child. Black people got black kids. So if you don't like black people and you don't want a black doctor and you don't want a black lawyer and you don't want a black financial advisor, you don't want, then where your kids gonna work?
Mm-hmm.
That
Because they've been conditioned to think that white people do things better,
yeah,
and that's not true.
that's so sad.
That's
And it
true.
That's
comes
so
from
sad.
ancestry that's what
That's
that we
true.
That's
aren't as
right.
intelligent, and we are.
That's right. That's right.
But
There's
actually,
there.
actually, most of the time, white people are hiring black people because the government says, "Hey, if you hire this black person, we're going to give you X amount of dollars.
Mm.
It's going to look better for your company." So
And
yeah,
now
that's
and
a
now that
favor.
yeah, but now it's not just us. The definition of minority has gotten so big. So
Yeah.
now they don't have to hire black people anymore. It's very competitive. You want that that minority bid goes to Asians, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right.
All of them. So even now, especially from the government perspective, gay people are considered minorities.
Yeah.
So
All of that has
it's like, we need to wake up. Like, we have to be excellent.
it has fallen.
Excellent.
Yep. All those laws that we, picket and went to the streets for, and
Yes,
Martin
indeed.
Luther King, all those laws are considered, like you said, the gays are in
Yes.
it, the Asians
Everybody.
are in it,
Yes.
everybody, Hispanics,
Yes. And even
everybody.
for government contracts, women are considered a minority.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yep.
Especially
You know,
if they're white.
yes,
That's yep,
exactly.
yep.
And that's,
Especially if they're white.
yep. All she has to own is 51%. 51% of the company. Her husband can own 49. That's a minority owned business.
Mm.
So we have to, really realize that that has to be part of our commitment to excellence. That most of what we're achieving has nothing to do, and everybody will admit, I don't know, there's some people that are probably lost, but we're not getting far because you're black. Like, when you got to where you all got that from sacrifice, determination, and commitment. No, there's just not a set aside program for our financial success. It just doesn't. Everything you've done, you've had to save on your own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm. And we've made it with this, discriminate. That's why we won't have any room to waste anything, anything, any money. Be very careful through the holidays, remembering, that no matter how much you spend, we still are in a pandemic. So just focus on love and safety and loving on each other.
I'm so
Mm,
proud of me. I'm not spending a dime for Christmas. Oh, I
good,
love it.
good, good, good.
Like near the
That's why
store.
that's why King Hollis and Chris are getting together and not you. I'm the truth. They know. Jenny is just way too cheap.
Oh man, maybe next year.
Right? Don't be upset. It's just you and that little statue in your house, right? Exactly. It's all good.
But
So let's
we gotta look at it this way. Everybody getting a gift, but the one that's having the birthday.
Yeah,
amen.
right.
Amen. Amen. I'm
Right.
gonna focus on him. I'm gonna focus on him. He's
Absolutely.
the reason for the season. So true, so true. So the key for tonight's discussion was just to encourage us to make sure that we focus on logical decision making, and it will protect us. Our logical, reflective, thinking about the entire logical, methodological, process of all of our financial decisions, and trying to avoid hurting, or avoiding emotion, avoiding the distractions that can stop us from really looking out for yourself. Thank you all so much.
Thank
Y'all are
everyone.
wonderful.
Thank you,
Thank you,
JB.
JB. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you. Y'all make sure if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Email me, jb@jbbryan.com, jb@afroeconomics.com.
All right. Good night, y'all.
I like your top.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, King Hollis. Thank you. Don't forget, New Year's Eve, we're gonna announce the AfroEconomics members of the year.
All right.
Let's get on. Let's get ready. Make sure
Uh,
you register now so I can send you your food, your meal. I'm just joking. No. Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe next time we'll get together.
we won't get any champagne.
That's right. Oh, right. You better have it at your house. You hear that, Chris?
You can have whatever you want.
Exactly. That's right. That's right.
Oh my
Y'all
goodness.
can have whatever you want. That's right.
No chicken wings, JB. No chicken wings.
Sure.
No chicken wings, especially not fried. I'm being good.
Or fried
I'm
turkey.
good. She like, Lord. Maybe I'll have some popcorn. That's living on the edge. Look, I could see me get some popcorn and then have it all up in my mouth. Maybe not popcorn. How you doing, Miss Neville? Look at you. I was talking about you earlier. Hi, Miss Davis. Look at the Andersons. That's so good to see y'all. Janet's fire.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Y'all
everyone.
so good. Good night, Miss Neville.